Good morning. I'm Steve Churm, CEO of Churm Media and Executive Editor of OC Metro, and welcome to a special edition of the OC Metro Minute for Wednesday, July 18th. Today's Metro Minute is brought to you by Southland Golf, Southern California's #1 source for news, information, and tips about where to play and the players who are shaping the game locally and globally. Don't miss your opportunity to play Morgan Run, one of the most exclusive private courses in San Diego County on July 30th as part of Southland Golf's Summer Tournament Series. Go to southlandgolfseries.com for details and to register. Remember, space is limited. And now, today's special report. In a landmark settlement that will have a sweeping impact on the credit card and retail industry, Visa and MasterCard agreed to pay more than $6 billion to settle a massive antitrust case filed 7 years ago by Irvine businessman Mitch Goldstone, CEO and president of ScanMyPhotos.com. The suit alleged in 2005 that the credit card companies and some of the country's largest banks were conspiring to unlawfully fix swipe fees for merchants. Goldstone became the lead plaintiff in the case, which resulted in spending countless hours crisscrossing the country to press the case and deliver testimony during the 7-year effort. When the settlement went public last Friday, Goldstone called the news his, quote, Aaron Brockovich moment. And today, Mitch is with us in the OC Metro studio to help put into perspective what this means for merchants and consumers alike. Good morning, Mitch. Welcome and congratulations.
Thanks, Steve.
I am certain the last few days have been whirlwind extraordinary as you've been fielding multiple media requests and really talking about this important settlement, so we appreciate you being with us here this morning.
My pleasure.
Mitch, I want to start this morning by asking you, as a small businessman who launched his business 2 decades ago, why did you decide to take on the credit card companies?
Steve, it was very interesting. I was charging $5 to scan a photo, those old photo snapshots, and with technology, I was able to bring that down to just pennies per scan. And it's that same type of technology that made me curious, why were the credit card companies constantly raising rates? And I called up Visa and MasterCard and asked them, with my USC entrepreneur program, tenacity, to lower the rates. I didn't think it was fair. No one took my call. And I started to escalate it and then do a lot of research, realizing these were cost-based years ago with the manual credit card imprinter receipts, the carbon copies that had to be processed and mailed off. And I realized that there was something wrong with it. So that's why I took it on.
So Mitch, fast forward for me from 2005 to the last couple of months as the settlement finally came together. What were some of the factors and ingredients that led us to last Friday? What were some of your feelings when you finally were able to announce it? And some of the specifics behind the scenes, if you will.
The toughest part was I knew about this last December. The dollar amount, too, is under court seal not to discuss anything. But what this case is the largest private antitrust victory, settlement, in U.S. history, ×3. It's that vast. What it also does is Visa and MasterCard have this huge market power. 80% of the electronic payment network was run by Visa and MasterCard networks. They could charge anything they wanted. There was very little transparency. Merchants didn't know what the costs were, as well as all the other fees involved with it. Now merchants are going to be able to surcharge. I doubt they're going to charge extra for accepting credit cards. It's primarily going to be used as leverage to keep competition up and force Visa and MasterCard to keep their rates down, which is the case in other countries. In Australia, that was the case also, where just the threat of surcharging, charging more for credit cards, meant that the banks had to lower their fees. And it's very interesting to note that the banks, Visa and MasterCard, didn't pull out of Australia. They didn't pull out of other nations too, and these fees in other nations are just about 1/3 of that in the US. In Canada, the PIN-based debit cards have an interchange fee of 0. And the banks haven't pulled out. They're making boatloads of money up in Canada.
If I'm an individual merchant and I'm watching this, and I understand there may be something coming to me, how will that work?
Merchants will be contacted. Anyone that accepted Visa MasterCard between January 1st of 2004 and beyond will be contacted to be a member of the class. And all of those merchants who opt in to the class will be getting part of the money. And the money's just vast, of $7.25 billion. The best way for a merchant to calculate it is just to take the most recent year's total interchange fees that they paid and divide it by a third. So if you had payments of about $60,000, you should be getting about $20,000 check.
There seems to be some mixed reports on how this will impact the average consumer. You have some thoughts about that?
I do, Steve. The mixed reports are specifically coming from the banks and Visa, MasterCard's PR machine, as opposed to from reality. You know, the banks are the ones that wanted to consider themselves as people. So this is a huge win for 100% of Americans, less about 10 people. And I'm interpreting that this is going to be a huge windfall for consumers. They're going to be ultimately paying less because of competition and the new rules in the settlement that will be in place. So consumers, cardholders are going to be reaping windfall benefits as well as will merchants.
You've been at the center of this now for 7 years. What's next for you and your growing business, ScanMyPhotos.com?
This has been such a large project for me for the past 7 years. I'm working on several others. The most recent one, it's very exciting, is working in partnership with the United States Postal Service, where it's a great story where they love the fact that people trust the post office with mailing their most precious possessions, photos. So they have this whole new ad campaign, video campaign that's in the works with Scan My Photos. So I'm looking forward to that and other projects like that.
Well, again, congratulations. I know this has been a life's work. You continue to show your entrepreneurial flair. I've known you for a while, and I'm just very happy for you and showing the courage, and thank you for your initiative and seeing this through to the end. I appreciate you being here this morning, Mitch.
Thanks, Steve.
I'm Steve Churm, and this has been a special Metro Minute report for Wednesday, July 18th, 2012.